Hello there, and thanks for joining me. In this video, I want to show you a Windows feature called System Restore. System Restore is something that's been around in Windows for a long time. If you've used previous versions of Windows, you probably already know about it. However, if you've only ever used Windows 10, you might not know about System Restore. It's kind of hidden away in advanced system settings, and it might be disabled on your computer. So what I want to do is give a brief explanation of what System Restore is and why it could be useful for you. I'll show you how to find the settings, enable system restore if it's actually disabled, and then show you how you would actually perform system restore. System restore is very easy to use. If it's turned on, everything is automatic and it kind of takes on care of itself. Reverting to a previous restore point is just a matter of a few clicks. So once you've got a basic understanding of what it does, what it can and can't do, anyone can use system restore. So let's say that something has happened with your computer. One day it's working fine, then the next day you've got problems. It could be slow, unresponsive system, slow login, applications crashing and hanging, like a hardware issue, a keyboard or a mouse isn't working, and you don't know why. It could have been caused by installing software, could have been caused by installing hardware. You could have changed some systems, some settings, but you might not have actually done anything. There's no obvious error messages or indicators of what the problem might be. All you know is one day it was okay, it was working absolutely fine. The next day you've got a problem. This is where System Restore might be able to help you. It's a Windows feature that allows a user to revert a computer to a previous point in time. This feature can allow you to undo changes that might have caused problems. As I mentioned, System Restore has existed on Windows for decades, but it seems to be being deprecated on Windows 10. It's hidden, it's not in the main recovery menu, main recovery options, but it is still there and you can still use it. On many computer systems, Restore is disabled by default. After doing a bit of research, it appears that it's mainly computers with smaller hard drives where it's disabled as a space-saving measure. So what does System Restore do? Well, System Restore captures the working state of Windows at a certain point in time. It saves that working state and then allows you to revert that state, effectively taking your computer back in time. So Windows system files, settings, the registry, applications and drivers are all captured at a certain point in time. System Restore does not affect saved files that you've created. So if you revert to a previous restore point, if you take your computer back in time, it won't remove any new files you've created since the time of the restore point and today. Conversely, if you restore a computer back, it won't recreate files that you might have deleted since then. System Restore is not a full backup solution that is going to get your save files back. It doesn't work that way. It saves the working system state. Okay, so this is what it does. It automatically creates a restore point. It saves that working state of Windows whenever it detects a major system change. A major system change would be a software install. You install a game, application. It could be a driver install. So if you fitted some new hardware, it could be a registry change or some other major Windows settings change, or most importantly, Windows update. This is where I think System Restore is most useful, because it creates a restore point before it does any major Windows updates. We all know that if you've used Windows computers for any length of time, you will know that Windows updates can cause huge problems. You can have a computer that's working absolutely fine, that is stable, and then Windows updates come in, get installed, and things are broken all over the place. Okay, so I'll show you the setting. I don't really want to go too deep into it because it's fairly simple. So literally just type in System Restore into Start menu. You would get into it through advanced system settings. So if you type in System, you would get into it that way. Start menu throws up Create a Restore Point. Okay, let me just get in a little closer for you. Okay. It's also known as System Protection. So you go to the System Protection tab on the System Properties dialog box. If System Restore is disabled on your computer, you will immediately see, because under Protection Settings, you will see under Protection of Available Drives, any available drives will show off. If System Restore is on, the drive that has C on it will say on, like this one. If you find that it's disabled, just click on Configure and literally on or off, turn on System Protection, disable System Protection. Underneath that, you've got disk space usage. You can change the amount of disk space that is assigned to System Restore. All that means is the more disk space you assign to it, the more restore points can be created going further back. I think the default is 1%. So for me, I've got a terabyte hard drive, so that's about that much. I think for me, that's fine. Excuse me. So to actually perform a system restore, click the button that says System Restore, and it gives you this box. System Restore can help fix problems that might be already explained this. System Restore does not affect any of your documents, pictures, or other personal data. That's worth repeating. Any personal files that you've got on the machine don't come into the picture with System Restore. Anything new that you've created will stay there. Anything that old that you've deleted won't reappear. Okay, so here on the next screen you will see your restore points. Now, on my computer, because I've only just turned System Restore back on, it hasn't done its work and created any automatic restore points. All that's showing is this manual one that I've created. So what I want to do is show you in this image what it really should look like. What you should see is several restore points. If you see on the right hand side here, you can see the type. So this one at the bottom, Windows Update, Critical Update, this is an automatic restore point that was created before updates were installed. Here's another one, an automatic restore point created when a game was uninstalled. And again, an automatic update created when updates were installed. This one here, this automatic restore point, this is just a scheduled restore point. What should happen, regardless of whether or not you have major system changes, System Restore should save a restore point once a week. So that's what that is there. So the only reason I'm showing you that is because on my system there's only the one. Once I've left this on for a few days, more restore points will start to be created. So all we've got to work with is this manual one that I've created. So let's say that I did want to restore to that. I would just click next, and this is the final one, confirm your restore point. As I say, none of this is particularly complicated. Your computer will be restored to the state it was in before the event in the description field below. There's the description. This is the time and date that the restore point was created, and this is what essentially this computer will be put back in time to how it was working on this date at this time. And that's really all there is to it. You would click finish after that. I'm not going to go ahead and do this, but you'd click finish, you would get logged out, and the system restore would commence. You'd be on the Windows loading screen as if you were installing updates. It would take not too long in my experience, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10-15 minutes, and then it would finish. You'd get the login box, you could log back in, and then your computer would have been reverted to that point in time. Okay, so that's really all there is to it. I think it's worth knowing about System Restore, if only for the reason of being able to restore after a round of Windows updates that have broken your machine. It's well worth knowing that every time a major update goes on your machine, this restore point is created. As I mentioned, anyone who has used Windows for any length of time will know that updates can and do break systems. Being able to revert to a restore point can just completely sort everything out and clear all these problems. So I hope you found that useful today. Consider going into your system and turning on System Restore. It's worth having. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.